Thanks for tuning in to Weird Mythic Podcast. It's Naomi and Serena. How's everyone doing?
Hope you guys are so good. Are you
We're
good?
doing great. I'm good. I'm doing good. How about you, girl?
I'm good. I'm amped up. I'm ready for this episode.
Yes, this is interesting. We're gonna be talking about leprechauns today, guys. I know we're a little bit behind from the St. Patrick's Day, which was last week, but whatever. We gotta at least talk about leprechauns and St. Patrick's Day. But what I'm excited about, girl, I'm actually going to the coast this weekend, so I'm so excited to go see the ocean. I swear it's been like a year since I've gone to Fort Bragg here in California. So
that's gonna be so nice. Is the weather gonna be really nice this weekend?
Yeah. I know it's already like hella hot here, dude. It's like 85 degrees, but it's also whale season, so I'm hoping to see some whales when I go down this weekend.
I hope you do too. Yeah, we are probably gonna go into Houston this weekend, like for the first time. We haven't gone in yet since we moved here, but our anniversary is tomorrow, so.
Oh shit! How many years?
8 years.
8 years. All right. Crazy? That's right, girl. Get it.
Gosh, someone stayed with me for 8 years.
He ain't going nowhere.
And we have a whole human together.
One full human, that's correct.
Yep, her birthday was yesterday.
Yeah, so she had a good birthday.
She had the best time. I swear, this child, like, you could just get her a balloon and she's like the most thankful human being on the earth.
Good. Yeah. You're raising a good human there, Serena.
I'm fucking trying.
Hell yeah. Oh man, I am so not used to this weather right now. So since I could remember. So the reason I'm going to the coast, guys, is because mine and my friend Christina's birthday are a day apart, and they're both on this weekend, the 26th and 27th. And every year on my birthday, it rains. Like, it could be a light sprinkle or it's pouring rain my entire life. Last year, it sprinkled just a little bit. So I'm wondering with this weird-ass weather if it's actually going to rain or not.
Ooh.
So, well, everyone keep your eyes open here. If it's raining anywhere on the 26th, let me know. It always rains on my birthday.
Dang. It's supposed to be like 80 for like the rest of the week and the weekend, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be really, really nice.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah. It's going to be a good weekend. Good weekend. Everybody get out and go do something outside.
I'm like, welcome to our weather podcast.
We love the weather, and we like to go do things outside.
We do. This is true. Yeah, and I'm just excited because I think we're going to go get hot pot, and I'm like, I haven't had a hot pot in so long.
Dude. Yeah, it's been a few months for me, and that was in San Francisco when I went and did that one. It was so good.
San Francisco has the best hot pot.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly. We'll see. I hope Houston, gets their shit together, and I'm sure we can find someplace good.
Oh, yeah.
So.
And we also want to mention, guys, that we are officially on the website for the Paranormal Podcast Festival in August in Dallas. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
we're actually there. I saw our little... Yeah. My bad. Whatever it is.
No, you're good. We're taking over. Guys. We're taking over this festival, though.
Yeah, I got hella excited when I saw our logo on there. I was like, oh my gosh, it's official. There we are.
I know. I was like blasting it everywhere. You guys are going to get so sick of hearing us talk about this, but it's going to be so much fun if you guys do decide to come. It's August 26th through the 28th in Dallas, Texas. It's the True Crime Podcast Festival. You go to truecrimepodcastfestival.com for more information and to get your tickets and to find out, all the awesome podcasts that are going to be there.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
including
please
us.
Join us. Yes, especially us.
Especially us.
But yes, guys, come on, look it up. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool, true crime podcasters that are going to be there. And then we got our small group of paranormal podcasts. So we're excited to meet everybody, really. I want to meet more people in our community and just hang out and kick it and get some good pointers for the show. And
I'm excited.
We would love it if any of our listeners are there to come and say hi.
Yes, I'm excited too because we had Jason on an episode from the Santa Maybe a Criminal podcast, and he's going to be there too. And he's actually how I found out about the festival. So I'm excited to meet him. It's going to be fun. We're going to we're going to party. We're going to party it up. in
Get ready, Dallas. Get ready.
Get ready.
I also wanted to give a shout out. So our music on here for Weird Mythic, our intro music was done by our friend Jim Mazurek, and I am gonna go see him play live with his band tomorrow.
Right? Oh, I'm so excited for you.
Yeah. Yes, I'll send you some videos of him, but yeah, he got like a new drummer and they've been jamming. So I'm going to go watch Jim play tomorrow night at like a cider house down here. So
nice.
Yeah, I'm excited to go see some live music because I haven't seen anybody live yet this year. So
nice. That'll be fun. We had so much fun when we went to go. Riley was like dancing in the street. She was like living it up. She loved it.
That's right.
She was his biggest fan, I swear.
Well, cool. I'll have to send her the videos then.
All right, well, let's get into this episode
cool.
of these tiny little motherfuckers.
The wee folk, as they call it, apparently.
Is that what they call it?
I think so. I found that in a few places.
I kept seeing good folk everywhere, and I was like, these
good folk
don't sound good at all.
All right, well, guys, we're going to be talking about some leprechauns here. And I just got to say, I never really thought about it, but leprechauns are fairies. Yes. I don't know why that never really crossed my mind. I'm like, of course they are, right? They're
it never clicked to me either. And do you remember like when you're a kid and you make like leprechaun traps and stuff like that? Mm-hmm. Did you ever do that at school?
I know we did it at school, but I don't ever remember doing it at like home or nothing.
No, we never did that at home. We always had like, I don't know, on like St. Patrick's Day, I remember we would have like corned beef and cabbage,
which is so good.
We did this year
I miss
too.
It because I didn't have any this year. My dad moved to Oklahoma and he's the one who made it. And
no!
So
we had corned beef and then we didn't have cabbage, but I had kimchi, so I had corned beef and kimchi, and it was actually really, really good combination. Like I feel like I'm gonna make some kind of corned beef sandwich with kimchi and like some kind of like garlic aioli or something, and I'm like onto something.
All right, so I'm putting a pause on the recording so I can go get that right now. Because I'm so hungry. Oh, shit. But yeah, so leprechauns, Irish folklore. The first, like, sighting that, or not sighting, but mention that I could find on leprechauns themselves was in the 8th century is when they first started, like, becoming part of real folklore or actually like being talked about around Ireland. And they are fairies, as we said, but they always look like old men. Did you ever find any like drawings or mentions of leprechauns being women?
Nope. And I have at the very top of my page pronouns he/him because they're only referred to, I swear, as men. Like,
yeah, I never saw anything about them being women or female at all. It was always old men.
So I was like, okay, cool, your pronouns, we got you, man.
Got you. We respect that. Got ya. So something else that I kept finding was they all wear like a leather apron or suspenders. And they also wear a hat. And in some of the instances where they were describing this hat, it totally reminded me of red caps.
I was gonna bring that up too, because I was like, a lot of this, and I kept seeing like brownie things that like reminded me of like the brownies episode that we did too. Yeah. But specifically like the nightcap, I was like, okay, this is all just so familiar.
Yeah, that's how I was feeling too. I was like, so of course they're all fairies. They're all some sort of like, or hobgoblin is another one I would also refer them to. So yeah, just these small old men, you know, usually around 2 to 3 feet tall. And they're usually like dressed like a, how would I put this? With the apron and the shoes, a cobbler. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot. They make shoes, guys. All leprechauns make shoes. Yeah, little cobblers. And one of the earliest records I also found was in this story called The Death of Fergus MacLeety. And in this one, it was about a water spirit that they called the Leperchaun, which just translates to small body. And in that story, that Leperchaun tricked the king into giving up his throne, and he could have 3 wishes. So that's another like thing that I kept finding in leprechaun lore. is they will grant you these 3 wishes.
Okay.
But the only way that you can get those 3 wishes is if you catch a leprechaun. And usually when people go to catch a leprechaun, it's to take their gold, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you happen to be like, I don't want the gold, I want the 3 wishes, you have to promise to let them go. But even if you catch them, they're extremely trickery and they like to get away. They try to get away no matter what. Like, they'll promise up and down, like, yeah, I won't go nowhere. Yeah, of course you could have those wishes. Of course you can have the gold. But as soon as you take your eye off that leprechaun, he's disappearing and then you don't get shit.
These are so similar.
You gotta keep your eye on them.
Yeah, the thing I did is, like, I want to say it's, like, the cousin of the leprechaun, and they're, like, so similar.
Okay.
Like, everything you're saying, I'm like, yep.
Yeah, they're definitely tricksters, which, I mean, I want to say probably all fairies are a little bit of tricksters.
I think so, and I feel like a lot of, like, lore that we hear on fairies, or, like, in, I'm, like, referencing, like, The Magicians, if you've ever watched that show. It's, like, there's, like, a deal involved, or some kind of, like, magic. I don't know. Words are hard, but you know what I mean? Like, there's, like, some kind of wish or, like, deal to be made, or, like, some kind of trading of, like, things.
Yeah, what I kept seeing was, like, if you do catch a leprechaun, you have to, like, pretty much promise not to do any sort of harm to them, and you will let them go. And then they'll give you the 3 wishes. But, again, don't take your eye off of him, because he's going to disappear, and then you don't get nothing.
Yeah.
So I also just kind of wanted to talk about St. Patrick's Day in general and about what that has to do with leprechauns.
Because I didn't look up a damn thing.
So, to be honest, I still didn't find any correlation to St. Patrick's Day and leprechauns. The only thing that I could find was that they're both Irish.
Okay,
or
so
from
just
Ireland.
the region.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So, and I couldn't find anything about the rainbows when it comes to leprechauns either.
I didn't either. I couldn't either, and I was thinking, like, at one point, like, they can kind of create, like, optical illusions or whatever, at least the ones I'm talking about. I'm like, I wonder if maybe, like, they created the rainbows to, like, trick people to say, like, this is where the gold is, but really the gold is somewhere else.
That would make sense. Especially since how hard is it to find the end of the rainbow?
Exactly.
As soon as you get close enough to that, it's all tricks of light. It starts to disappear once you get close to it. So,
I mean, obviously we know, like, leprechauns aren't making all the rainbows. Like, don't think that that's, like, something that we believe. But I'm just saying, in, like, the tale or whatever, every kid's like, oh, pot of gold at the end of the rainbow because of the leprechaun or whatever. So Serena's over here at 28 years old, like, I know it's from leprechauns.
Like, that's the only way they're made is from the leprechauns.
Seriously.
So I really wanted to just, like, also find out anything about St. Patrick's Day and leprechauns. And as I said, I really couldn't find any correlation. But some things that I did find was that leprechauns weren't always dressed in green back in the day. Like, during the 8th century, it wasn't until the 20th century that they were associated with the color green. They actually wore a lot of red is the one color, which made me also think of more red caps, that they were usually dressed in red instead of green.
Yeah, I don't have anything about anything green.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about St. Patrick here. And he was a Christian bishop who went to Ireland in the 5th century. And the reason he went there was to convert all the Irish from, like, paganism or Celtic to Christianity. So that kind of got me thinking a little bit, like, if St. Patrick was going to Ireland to get rid of paganism, then why are leprechauns associated with that? Because he would try to get rid of it. That was the whole point of Christianity. They don't believe in fairies. So it is a Catholic holiday. So that makes me go back to, like, why are we associating leprechauns with St. Patrick when somebody like St. Patrick wouldn't have been even thinking about leprechauns or fairies? So I just think it just has to do with the fact that the Irish were definitely not going to give up their traditional folklore, their traditional stories, and a lot of it had to do with like leprechauns and fairies. So they're gonna just mush everything together because it is a big like Christian Catholic country. So knowing that, they're probably just, mixing everything together, which happens a lot. So that was pretty much it, about St. Patrick. That's the reason he went to Ireland. And I want to go back to the color green a little bit here. So green, if people didn't know, I didn't know that Ireland had a nickname. Did you?
No.
Okay,
nope.
So
I was like thinking, I'm like, do I?
Yeah, because I didn't. So, Ireland has the nickname the Emerald Isle.
Oh,
so,
yes, I knew that.
See, I had no idea.
Did you ever watch that movie on Disney Channel where The Luck of the Irish?
I did. Yeah. That's like the kid turns a certain age and now he's a leprechaun.
Yeah. They talk about the Emerald Isle in that.
Oh. I haven't watched that since like forever, dude.
I haven't either, but
I think
that
I need
was
to
like
rewatch it.
one of my like favorite movies. It would always come on in March, and like I loved that movie.
Yeah, because he was like a basketball player, right?
Yeah, and then he gets all tiny.
Yeah.
That was so funny.
So the Emerald Isle, if you think of the Irish flag, there's the green stripe, there's the orange stripe, and there's the white stripe. So the green stripe does represent the Catholics of Ireland, and the orange represents the Protestants, and the white symbolizes the peace between the two. So
okay,
I really
that's
liked
nice.
that.
Yeah,
right. Something about the here's something that I missed about St. Patrick, actually. So, the Holy Trinity, right? The Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Apparently, St. Patrick used the clover, the 3-leaf clover, as like a symbol for the Holy Trinity for in Ireland when he went there to go have everybody, convert to Christianity. So that's pretty interesting.
I feel like that's clever.
I think so too. You're trying to relate to the people you're trying to get into your religion. So that's a good way to do it. And a lot of like early drawings of St. Patrick, he's actually wearing blue. He wasn't wearing green or red or orange like we're kind of seeing him today. But the reason that he was wearing blue was because Henry VIII wore blue when he declared himself King of Ireland, which, he wasn't King of Ireland for very long. And the color green was almost in protest of that blue color. So I think a lot of the color green has to do with that the Irish did not want to give up their land to any king that was not, in line with what they believed in or even cared about them in that matter. So I think the color green just has a lot to do with Ireland and not just leprechauns in general. So I really liked that. Also, the color orange, which is in the flag, I found out something new. There was this guy in Ireland called William of Orange, and he was the Protestant king, and he wore a lot of orange. So, that has to do with Ireland also. That was the king that they wanted, not, not King James from Roman Catholic, none of that. Another thing that I kept finding about leprechauns is they don't want to be seen by humans. Everything that I kept seeing was like, even if you try to capture one or see one, it's for a very fleeting moment. They do like to stay out in the wilderness and be one with nature. And something that I came across a few times, since they don't want to be seen by humans and they usually are just out in nature, you won't find them in the city. They have sacred places. And all of these places could be like something like possibly, I'm trying to think of anything out in nature that just looks really cool. So you'll go out to like a field, okay, and there's nobody around. That could be a sacred place for leprechauns in Celtic traditions. So if you go to those sacred places, they might start playing tricks on you and then start to like get angry and fuck with you a little bit so you get out of their area. So, more about leprechauns are, trickster fairies who make shoes. Yeah, and that's how people would also try to find them, is like they're going on like a nature walk and doing stuff outside. And then they start hearing this like banging noises. And so they would start to go near them, and then they would see like this little guy out in the middle of the forest making shoes, and then he would disappear. But yeah, so that's a little history about leprechauns, St. Patrick's Day, a little bit about Ireland, their flag, and everything like that. And I felt like it all kind of went together.
Yeah, I feel like you hit like everything I'm gonna cover, but it's okay. We'll still go through it.
Oh, we are. We're gonna go through it. Did you find any like sightings of leprechauns?
So just folklore stories.
Okay.
Not like present day ones.
So I tried to look for some, and I think I found a few.
Okay,
So
cool.
I'm gonna go through them. But one thing I did find, and I texted you about it, is I found I found a YouTube channel called Just Josh and You. And they do a whole lot of like paranormal stuff. And one of their episodes was actually about hunting a leprechaun. And so the guys who host the show, they are very skeptical, and I really like that, especially because I will be a skeptic. If I haven't seen it, but I'm not like just pushing it aside like it doesn't happen. But I want to see it happen or have something in front of me to prove that that's actually happening. So these guys did go to Ireland, and the whole 30-minute show reminded me of like Ghost Hunters or Monster Hunters.
Oh, wow.
Those type of shows. They had a guy on there who said that he can summon leprechauns. And the way that he has described them, because this guy says he has seen them, he's been able to like summon them over to him or his area. And he says that they're like a ball of light. Which goes back to the point of that they're very fast and you don't really see them. Like, you see a leprechaun for a quick second and then they're gone. So the way he described it was they're like a fleeting light going right by you. So you might not even notice. And so, you know, he tries to conjure up these leprechauns, and one of their little devices does end up going off to prove that there might be something in front of it that they don't see. So that was really the only quote unquote, you know, evidence that leprechauns might exist. But then again, there was nothing really caught. It was just that this music box would go off. Yeah. Which, I mean, that could be like, if you're into the paranormal, that could go back to like ghosts. You don't know. Could be anything. So it wasn't hard evidence, and they even said that in the show. They never got anything on camera, of course, but it was very interesting. I watched the whole thing. I do have 2 stories I want to go through, and the first one was I found a YouTube channel, and it's called Nope Too Creepy. So I had to watch it. And this was like 5 alleged leprechaun sightings. So I'm going to go over one of them because it happened in Arizona back in 2014 in Phoenix. Guys, I just found this today, so I wish I did a little more research, but it happened right before doing recording. So maybe I'll look into it a little more. But in Phoenix, Arizona in 2014, there was sightings of a leprechaun going around in downtown Phoenix. Witnesses say that they saw a small man about 2 foot tall in a green suit, and they kept saying a funny hat. One of the sightings, the woman saw the man run out in front of her, looks at her, smiled at her, and then continued to run the other way. And that was it. So another witness was actually a 10-year-old girl, and she said that he was a funny singing guy. He ran away, but then looked at the girl and did a little dance and then jumped away.
Stop, that's so creepy.
Then
why does it scare me so much when they dance?
Well, that's the thing. Like, it turns around, smiles, does a little dance, and then runs. Okay?
I hate that.
The whole smiling thing, and I think it has to be back to the Leprechaun movies, is that what we're going to think of? We're going to think of that leprechaun smiling at you, which isn't a welcoming smile at all.
True. My daughter, as I was doing research today, she was like, I want to watch the Leprechaun. I'm like, no, you don't. You're 7. You are going to get scarred for life. I don't know if she understood like what it was, but I was like, I don't think I watched that until I was like 12.
Yeah, I think I was I was a little older than her. I don't know. My parents let me watch scary movies since I was like real young. But I mean, like,
not mine. I feel like I was
yeah.
12.
And in that movie, you throw shoes at him, and then he has to stop and clean them first.
Yes.
So I always thought I was like, just go into his shoe store and dump all the shoes on the ground. Like, I don't know. But something else about these sightings back in 2014 in Phoenix was there was another story of this guy's daughter who was with a friend, and I believe from what I remember is the friend was known to like run away from home or has been known to be like, I'm going to run away. I don't want to be with my parents. So these two girls were hanging out, and apparently a leprechaun took them, and they're still missing. So I don't know how accurate that is. That's one of the things why I wanted to say I just found this today, and I'm going to do a little more research. But why would they say a leprechaun took the kids? Like, back in 2014. And I just thought that was very strange. Because I never read anything about leprechauns
stealing
children, exactly. So
yeah,
there was that. Another story that I found came out of eastern Oklahoma, and I don't have a date or a year for this one, but the story goes that there was this couple, and they were in bed messing around, doing marital things.
Ew.
And as they're getting into it, all of a sudden the whole bed moved, like a whole foot. Like, just pushed, so like somebody pushed the bed. So they stop for a second, and the guy, like, gets up, peeks around the corner, or, like, looks around his shoulder, and he looks over at the dresser that is next to the doorway to the bedroom. And as he looks over, he noticed a little man peeking around the corner of the dresser. He only saw his, like, head and one hand. But as this little man was peeking around the dresser, he was smiling a very large grin. And the man is quoted by saying an evil-looking smile. So this guy was so creeped out by what he saw, he grabbed his 12-gauge shotgun and went looking around his house for a small person. What?
Did he put clothes on first?
I have no idea. I don't know. Because if I was that scared about having some crazy, weird-looking person in my house, I probably would have just grabbed my gun without clothes on either. And just been like, who the hell's in my house?
I'm not stopping to put pants on.
No, because you don't know if there's more or if he has a weapon or what's going on. But it creeped that dude out so much that the woman didn't see it. She was just like, okay, that was weird. And then she could tell that there was something like he looked startled. So, and then the fact that he grabbed his gun and went looking around the house made her even like, what the hell did you see? And he explained it to her, and they're like, what the hell? Because it's just very strange.
That is scary, and it actually reminds me of a story.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, that Anthony. Okay, so the other day, this happened like last week. He's been working like the 4 a.m. shift, so he has to get up at like 2. Mm-hmm. And then by the time he leaves at 3 o'clock, right? Because it takes him an hour, almost an hour to get to work.
Yeah.
So he leaves at like 3 a.m., the witching hour, right?
Yeah.
But the other day, as he was like waking up, I guess, he heard outside of the window, which is like directly above our bed, like he said it was like, basically it sounded like 2 robots were like communicating with each other in like some alien language or something, like some weird, but he was really scared. Like it sounded like, I don't know, like AI or some weird thing, right? And it was like in the middle of the night, he didn't know what it was, and he was still kind of groggy or whatever. He like took a shower and then came back in the room, got dressed, and he said he grabbed his gun and like loaded it, and like that's how he went out to his car.
Oh my gosh,
you were so scared.
I love it so much. I'm with it, T. You do that. You protect everybody. Like...
He woke me up though, and then like told me this, and then left for work. So I'm like laying there, like listening, laying in bed. I'm like, am I gonna hear some robot? I got so scared. I didn't go back to bed for like, I swear, 45 minutes. I was laying there like, you know, when you just start sweating and you're like under the covers and you feel like you're safe there, so you stay under the covers, but it gets really fucking hot.
Then you have to get out of the covers. And...
Yeah, and you're like, oh my god, it's gonna grab my leg or something. And yeah, it was just not a fun time.
Oh my gosh. You guys need like some trail cams outside the house now. And
No,
see what's
no,
going
no, no.
on.
Nope,
Yes.
nope, nope.
Yes.
No.
No.
No. What if I see something?
Then you see something.
No, I'd rather not know.
Ignorance is bliss, right?
I'd rather not know. No, absolutely not. I don't even look out the windows at night.
Oh my gosh. How
I
funny.
refuse. We're surrounded by woods.
I know. That's why I'm saying you need to get a trail cam.
Fuck that. We've covered too many creepy things that live in the forest. Like, absolutely not.
Dude, for real. Oh my gosh. But yeah, those are my leprechaun stories. What do you got for me?
It's good. I'm gonna make this short and sweet because it's getting late, and we're gonna make this a shorter episode. Basically, I'm covering I think it's pronounced Clurichaun. It's Clurichaun. And he's like the cousin of a leprechaun, so they're like related. They're closely, they're fucking the same thing basically. But not. So he's basically like a mischievous fairy in Irish folklore. He's known for his great love of drinking. So he tends to haunt like breweries, pubs, and wine cellars. That's like the location where he stays the most.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I came across that word and had to look it up, and it was like wine. What do I have right here? It is a household fairy that haunts wine cellars.
Yeah. And then he's known as a solitary fairy. So there are different types of fairies, which we're going to cover in a different episode because that's just like way too much for one night. But they're basically like they're chilling by themselves. You're not going to find like a pack of these motherfuckers. They're
chilling in your wine cellar.
He's by himself. There's a couple different folklore stories. There's actually a lot. There's a lot of different folklore stories that you can find on different websites and stuff. And I have like a brief summary of a couple of them. But in one of them, it's called The Haunted Cellar, and it was recorded in 1825 by Thomas Crofton Croker. And he talks about this Clurichaun named Naganeen. I don't know if I said that wrong.
How do you spell it?
It's Naggeen.
Okay, thank you.
So I tried, but there you go. And he haunts this wine cellar of an Irish lord, basically drinking like everything this man can see, right? Everything in sight. And he just like will play these pranks on the servants. Like that's what they do. They're like mischievous little fucks.
Yeah.
And he described the man as measuring about 6 inches in height, which is, I would say, significantly smaller than what you said a leprechaun was, because you said it was about 2 feet, right?
Yeah, that's way smaller than any of the leprechaun stuff I found.
So this one said specifically 6 inches. So it's average, right? He had a face like a withered apple, and twinkling eyes, and a nose that was red and purple from heavy drinking. He wears a red nightcap, a short leather apron, light blue stockings, and shoes with large silver buckles.
Okay. What is with these red caps?
I know, right? But basically, he was like, the whatever guy was going to move out, but he said, oh, I'm just going to follow you wherever you are. So the guy ended up just staying there, whatever. But it's like this long story. There's so many. Look them up online. Let us know, if you guys find any good ones that you want us to talk about. There's just so many out there. And then the certain characteristics that the leprechaun and the Clurichaun, I guess, they have so many in common, like the shoemaker thing. And then one thing I found is that the Clurichaun is sometimes portrayed as carrying a jug of ale or wearing a leather apron with a hammer in hand, whistling as he works, which is like very Snow White and the Seven Dwarves.
Thank you, because I was about to say, like, whistle while you work.
I know, right? do, 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 do. Yeah, and then he also comes with a purse. He carries a magical purse with varying properties. So sometimes it may contain a shilling, known as a lucky shilling, that always returns to the purse no matter how often it's spent, or it's always full of money, and that's a reason that people could be trying to capture them. So that's like one of the reasons, And then if he is caught, like you mentioned, he has the power to vanish if he can make the captor look away for just a moment.
Yeah,
so all he needs you to do is look away for just one moment. He frequently could carry two purses, one containing the magic shilling and the other containing just a normal copper coin. And if he's captured, he'll basically be like, you can have this one, but it's the one with the copper coin. Which is so smart, honestly.
Yeah.
And like the leprechaun, he is sometimes said to have knowledge of hidden treasure and can be forced to reveal its location, but they can like set up like decoys of like multiple different like landmarks, which is why I thought that's like my rainbow theory comes in, is like maybe that's, you know,
I like it.
Why.
I like that theory.
But yeah, that's all I have.
Well, but that's like one thing that I think we both found while just trying to do any research on leprechauns is they do seem like these other fairies or these other hobgoblins that we've either talked about or have read about before. So,
yes.
yeah.
Yep. It was fun to research though.
Oh yeah.
It was interesting.
Did you have a good St. Patrick's Day?
I was at work. It was fine.
Same here.
Yeah, we were pretty slow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think it was
downtown
raining.
was popping. There was hell of people out. Oh my gosh.
I know, girl. I was there last year? No, we were in quarantine last year. Year before last?
Oh yeah.
2019?
Sounds about right.
That was fun.
Yes. Oh yeah.
We did
it's always fun to just go
bar
out
crawl
like that. Oh dude.
where we had like
the pub crawls,
14 different locations and you get like 50% off at each. It was awesome.
Yeah. So, when I was like doing all the research on leprechauns, and it's a little off topic, but I don't care. So, my stepdad, like, he passed away a few years ago, but he always wanted a tattoo of the Fighting Irishman. You know what? I can't remember which college team that is, but it's like that little Fighting Irishman, and it's like a little leprechaun ready to like fight you. And I kept seeing that when I would like go to images or anything on leprechauns. That little guy kept coming up, and he always thought growing up he was Irish. That's why he wanted the tattoo of the Fighting Irishman. And I think it wasn't until like, I don't know, this is before he passed away, obviously, but he did some research, or somebody in the family was doing research, doing that genealogy thing, and it comes back that they are not Irish.
Not at all?
Not at all. They're German. And he was so mad. He was like,
really funny.
But I want this Fighting Irishman tattoo and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, had this whole thing. He's like, should I still get the tattoo? I'm glad I haven't gotten the tattoo, but I still want the tattoo.
I say do it.
And that's how I feel. I'll be like, yeah, just get it. So maybe I'll have to get the Fighting Irishman tattoo just because. So.
That's so funny.
But I kept saying that. It kept making me think of him. So
that is
my little
hilarious.
thing.
All right,
Yeah.
well,
So that's leprechauns, guys. Again, you know, like, send us some suggestions on other shows. If you've seen a leprechaun, please let us know. You could always send us something on our Gmail, which is weirdmythicpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, let me know if you want to try the corned beef and kimchi sandwich.
For real.
You can DM me Twitter at Weird Mythic and Instagram, we're Weird Mythic Podcast. Again, please go ahead and check out the festival at truecrimepodcastfestival.com, where you can get more information and tickets and all of that good stuff. They have like discounts on hotels. So do it. Come hang out with us.
Yes, and please send us like a rating, download, leave a comment on anywhere that you get your podcast fix. It just helps, you know, the algorithm by getting us more people out there listening to us. So anything to help with that, guys.
Yes, and if you like the show, tell your friends too. Get your friends into it. We can all be friends, and it'll be fun.
Tell your friends, your family, everybody.
Everyone. Everyone you know.
Yes, please.
And don't know.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in again. And yeah, we'll see you in Dallas in August also. Hope to see you guys there.
We'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.